Hey Smelleanor! So, I've just had a really odd, slightly worrying train journey. And do you know why? Because of manners. That's why. Hi Smelleanor! So, I've kind of had a bit of a spontaneous evening to see my friend in Manchester, which was really nice. We played poker. They tried to teach me how to play poker. Not great at it, not gonna lie. Although I did win. They might be either really bad or I might be, you know, a natural. I think they're just really bad. Sorry if they happen to watch. We played poker and then watched most of PS I Love You, but I had to leave with half an hour left to go to get the train, which is fine. That's fine. I can cope with that. Getting the train back at 11:15, that's alright. I've done late night trains before. Not a problem. Friday night late night trains, not a problem. I know, you know, people are bound to be a little bit drunk. That's fine. It's Friday night. Go out, enjoy yourself, kids. Not kids. Underage drinking. I don't endorse that. So yeah, there was me waiting at the station for my train. It's due at 17 minutes past 11. It gets 17 minutes past 11. The time that it's due changes to 18 minutes past. It's alright, that's fine. Then it changes to 20 past, and then 23 minutes past, and then 25 minutes past, and then 27 minutes past. Like finally, like 10 minutes late, it rolls in, and so it's like, okay, great, this train journey is already going well. But you know, it's fine. It's empty coming in. Admittedly, there's a lot of people on the platform, so it's obviously going to fill up. But I was one of the first on, got a seat, I was fine. This is where the worrying bit begins to happen. I get my seat, all's well. The rest of the carriage still has other seats dotted about, but there's a guy that got on a few people behind me, looks through the carriage, he thinks, nah, not going any further, there's a seat right here, I'm going to sit there, sits next to me. Now I was at the window seat, he was at the aisle seat, so obviously, at some point during the train journey, unless he leaves before me, I'm going to have to ask him to move so I can get out. It's a moment in the train journey that all of us have had, and we all slightly dread it, because it's that moment where you have to talk to a stranger, which is just a no-go in any situation. My British instincts of, this doesn't feel right, this situation is going to happen at some point, and I'm not comfortable with it, start to kick in. But you know what, there's a few stations before mine, so I'm thinking, you never know, this could be resolved before it even becomes an issue. That would have been fine if 4 minutes into the journey, when this guy had obviously had a few drinks and was in that kind of like tipsy, sleepy stage, in his drunken state, just goes like that, like his elbow right across here, like pushing me into my seat, which I was uncomfortable with, but he does his yawn and he goes back into his seat. Bit rude. I mean, you're invading my bubble, you've caused my arm to have to move, and you've not even acknowledged that you've interrupted my life whatsoever. I've got a slight problem with that, but you know what? You've gone back to your space now. I'll let you off. He's fast asleep now, he's gone. Journey continues. Station number 1 is down. There's only one more stop from now till mine, so it's getting a bit tense, but there's still a chance that he could leave before me. Although I'm now starting to doubt, because he looks like he's going into a deep sleep, I now start to doubt that even if he was meant to get off before me, he wouldn't know if his stop arrived, because he would be asleep. And this worried me not only for that reason, but also for the reason that if he does stay on longer than me, he might be too asleep to hear me when I then have to say, excuse me, I need to get off. So I may have a really awkward situation where I have to like somehow climb over some sleeping guy to get off the train, and what if he wakes up while I'm doing this? He's gonna think, what the hell, and who knows what could happen. I mean, no one wants to be in that situation, but this is what's going through my mind. I'm starting to conjure up all sorts of possibilities. But anyway, a few more minutes of the journey goes by. He's facing this way into the aisle, I'm on his left hand side. He then does a big thing and round that way and nearly leans on me. Again, I'm not happy with this, but he's too asleep and I'm too reserved for anything to happen right now. I'm still just sat there like trying to inch away from him as much as I can, but I've got, you know, the end of the train on this side of me. I can't go any further. So it's getting a little bit awkward. You know, being British, you don't talk to strangers. You just let inconveniences like this happen to you until it just becomes too much. But at the moment, I can just about live with it. The next station comes up. it's a game changer now, because he's clearly not getting off before me. He's either getting off at the same stop as me or at one after, and there's several more stops after my station, so chances are he's getting off after me. I've now decided that this is going to happen. I'm going to have to do the whole excuse me thing to get off. I'm starting to run through all the scenarios in which, do I just say excuse me, and if he doesn't reply, try and climb over him? Do I say excuse me? If he doesn't reply, tap him and say excuse me? Do I just disregard any sort of excuse me attempt and just go for the jump and run situation? He had earphones in as well, so do I, like, if he doesn't reply on the first excuse me, take an earphone out and see if he wakes up and say excuse me, I need to get off? What? Help me out. What would you have done in my situation? Because this guy was completely out of it. He's probably still on the train, asleep. I think he's got to its final destination now, but he's probably still on it. So, yeah, I was running through all these situations in my mind, but then, like, a moment of relief came upon me. The train jolted a bit, and he sort of woke up, and, like, kind of sat up straight. And I was like, ooh, he's not that asleep. This could be my way out. If he's not too asleep, he might hear my excuse me and be able to get out of my way so that I can get off. Because this is really stressing me out now. I'm sitting there going through every possibility in my mind. So this was like a bit of relief. I was like, okay, this might be okay, this might be okay. But then he goes back into sleep like that. And I'm like, oh no, he's gone back. He's back under. What are we going to do now? In the end, the moment of truth arrived. Huddersfield was called as the next station. So I turned to him, I said, excuse me mate. He kind of acknowledged it. He kind of like opened his eyes a bit, looked confused, looked around, and then sat up straight, as if like that was all his effort of helping me get out. You could tell on his face was like, nah, not moving. So I had to full on just barge past his legs, which I could have done anyway. I didn't need to wake him up for that. If I knew that's all he would have done, I'd have just gone for the jump and got out of his way without any hassle, no stress whatsoever. As I was at the door, the people behind me, waiting to get off the train as well, they were talking to themselves like, and they said, oh, people are asleep, imagine if you had to get off, you have to poke them and ask them to move past. In my head I was like, yeah, that's what I just had to do. It was traumatic. See, so it's obviously a thing, you know, we all understand, but it's got me wondering, are manners getting a little too out of hand? Are we taking them to a bit too much extreme? I mean, I really should have had no problem with saying, excuse me, I need to get past. But I did. I shouldn't have had any sort of problem with saying, excuse me, you just hit me with your arm while you're yawning. But no, we can't do it. So are manners going too far? Do we need to dial it down a bit so that we can actually live life without these inconveniences? I personally think we need to be a little bit less polite. Like, I'm all for the, like, not talking to people, because, you know, that's fine. We've lived with that for centuries and it's worked, we've done a lot with it. But I think we should be allowed to, you know, be, you know, mate, you're invading my personal space, I'm going to tell you about it and hope that you don't do it again, because we all need to improve on this situation. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to be brave, and in the future, when something's invading my space or being inconvenient, I'm going to politely address the situation. So yeah, that's what's been happening with me. I mean, you're up to date with everything else because you saw me at the weekend when we did this thing, which I still haven't got over how much we raised, £2,500 so far-ish. I mean, snaps for us for that. So I just thought I'd tell you about my stressful train journey. Let me know in the comments down below what you'd have done, and if you think, like me, that manners have got a bit too far. Like this video if you liked it, if you like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. We upload every Sunday with a update vlog and midweek with a random other video. I hope you enjoyed, guys. I will see you next time. High five. That'll do, lad.